Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and if you don't see me before the new year, Happy New Year. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop with you on this Friday, December 19th, 2025. Can't believe the year's almost over, and holy cow, what a year it's been. Next year expected to be even more jam-packed, especially with an election year, and things are going to kick off early for Illinois with the March primary before the November midterm. So a lot for us to cover there, from the governor's race to the U.S. Senate race in Illinois and state house seats and control of the legislature. All kinds of things for us to tackle. Plus, ongoing economic issues concerning energy and the back and forth debate about immigration and public safety between the White House and Illinois state government. And that's the type of stuff we watch here with Illinois in Focus. So thank you so much for being part of the program each and every weekday morning. Next week is going to be a very quiet week. Likely going to have some best of things that we put together for the program. Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday's Christmas Eve. Take that off. Christmas Day, take that off. But also I will be off Friday through the rest of the year and back on January 2nd. So just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Taking the last week of the year practically. I'm gonna sleep in a little bit. All right, so appreciate your guys' patience. And big things coming up next year. So we've got a lot to tackle. It is Illinois in Focus. You can go to the Center Square, where I'm editor of the Illinois page, and you can read up on the latest headlines, get the newsletter in your inbox. You can also find the latest headlines at the Center Square's main page, where we've got an entire team across the country delving into issues impacting you, the taxpayer. But just to review some of the things that are at the Center Square Illinois website, a lot of back and forth over the use of interns at the Department of Children and Family Services. Strongly encourage you to go check out that story. We had Jed Davis on the program live earlier this week, and I did get response from the Department of Children and Family Services, and they're still adamant that Davis is not correct on the record. Davis saying he has documentation showing that he is correct, that interns have been used, that they aren't qualified, they aren't classified properly. And the department just hasn't been made aware of the mistakes that advocates are pointing to recently in some emails back and forth and public records. So go read that story, and you can also find other stories that sometimes we just don't have the time to tackle here with Illinois in Focus. All right, stay tuned. We've got a couple of things we're going to tackle, including the Illinois Accountability Commission meeting yesterday, making a referral about ICE enforcement of immigration. Plus, a state representative talks about Governor J.B. Pritzker being wrong on price increases. So stay tuned. We've got all of that here with Illinois in Focus Daily with you each and every weekday morning. Again, not next week. Best of type programming, some pre-recorded stuff. So just to get through the rest of the year, appreciate you. It is Illinois in Focus Daily, right here with the Center Square. Let's do that again. Gotta turn my mic on. All right. False start. It's Friday. The Illinois Accountability Commission meeting to discuss the issue of immigration enforcement in the state of Illinois and the public safety concerns that there are. It is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop with you live each and every weekday morning here with the Center Square. Go to thecentersquare.com where you can find the latest headlines, including state representative calls out violent rhetoric after Pritzker commission rips federal officers. You can read that story from Jim Talamonte, and we'll go through this a little bit as the Illinois immigration issue takes the spotlight across the country. So the commission yesterday met, and they heard testimony from several people. They watched several videos and had people describe what's happening in those videos. And this was a commission created by Governor J.B. Pritzker through executive order back in October. They're going to have more hearings, apparently. They're going to have a report initially due to the legislature in January, and we'll see just what kinds of things they produce in that report. But if you look at their news release here that was released after the hearing yesterday, you can get a sense of kind of what they're after. And this coming from the Illinois Accountability Commission, saying that they took compelling testimony shedding light on human impact of the widespread use of chemical agents during Operation Midway Blitz. The Illinois Accountability Commission, housed in the Illinois Department of Human Rights, held a public meeting December 18th in Chicago. During the public meeting, the commission outlined its function and purpose, presented two video montages highlighting concerning actions by federal agents, and heard a first-hand witness account, as well as a presentation from a public health subject matter expert. The commission announced it will be opening a portal in January to accept information from members of the public. So let's just hear a little bit of what one witness talked about during the commission. And we'll also take a look at some of the video montage that the state government, Illinois state government, your tax dollars, put together. That includes sweeping music and certain production elements. But first, to the commission, here's what one witness talked about, especially when it comes to protesting immigration enforcement.
This understanding of the use of force begs the question, are officers using these weapons for protection of public safety of civilians? Are they using it for punishment, for collective punishment? Are they chilling our right to free speech and assembly? While this is happening across your city, you may ask, what should I do about it? On the larger stage, it's imperative that the model of this Illinois Accountability Commission scale up to other cities, and we encourage justice and reparations. And on the individual scale, I can speak as a doctor on protecting your own health and ensuring that you collect evidence if you're harmed. Before protests, I encourage you to plan ahead, wear protective clothing, travel with trusted friends, communicate with your leadership. During the event, the best ways to be safe are, of course, to respect the law and remain peaceful, and to have strong situational awareness. And if you see or experience incidents of force, document them on your phone.
So obviously some tips for protesters going to protest federal immigration enforcement. And sometimes these protesters, they get in the way of vehicles. I saw a video yesterday of somebody pulling out in the middle of an intersection, blocking the intersection for a moment as DHS vehicles were heading down the road. I've seen plenty of other video of verbal accostation of federal officials. I've seen other video of violent confrontations between protesters and police, and not just federal officials either. It's Illinois State Police that are having to control some of these protests that are pouring into the streets in some instances, and to protect public safety of these protesters getting in the road and blocking vehicles or impeding federal law enforcement operations. So you've got videos that were compiled by the Illinois Human Rights Commission and this Illinois Accountability Commission, and they released them on YouTube, not just airing them there during the commission hearing yesterday. Here's one of those.
With pepper bullets, the residue that comes up makes it incredibly difficult to breathe. Was coughing profusely, had to rinse my mouth.
Day after day, tension-filled videos like these, taking over feeds across the country.
If someone strays into a pepper ball, then that's on them.
This is what these terrorists do to babies.
Mama, you okay, Mama? You okay?
All pedestrians will move outside the road now, or you will be arrested for impeding. Let's move them out.
Come here, guys, stay back, right? Come here. You're gonna need.
The judge called out U.S. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino. The judge shared Bovino admitted during a deposition to lying about getting hit by a rock before he threw 2 canisters of tear gas into the crowd.
So you can hear kind of the music elements there, the clock ticking, tick, 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 and some other things that were seemingly injected into that by whoever produced the video. And this video is a official publication by the Illinois Department of Human Rights. So the tax dollars used to add elements to that. They had another video that they released as well that's about 3 minutes long, and it's more montage of news and such, showing different types of instances of this, of similar types of activities. Again, more music in the background, putting Trump quotes in residence quotes and whatnot, and a lot of references to legal decisions that have been made, especially about the use of force. But again, those legal decisions still very much left in the courts, and in particular the use of force case. The plaintiffs who brought that case against DHS are moving to dismiss that case, as federal agents are moving to dismiss some cases against people that they have arrested. So interesting to see how this plays out. But, the purpose of this accountability commission was to take evidence, to take testimony about the impact of immigration enforcement on the state of Illinois. And here's, the commission investigator making a referral during the commission hearing yesterday. And let's pull that up. Get that cued and go.
We have heard testimony today from Matt DiMatteo and Dr. Rohini Har. Their testimony combined with the video evidence shows that a federal agent sprayed Mr. Barraza and his family with a chemical agent without provocation or just cause. That as a result of being exposed to a chemical agent, Mr. Barraza and his 1-year-old daughter continue to suffer mental and health consequences. Further, through the help of community members, we have identified a person of interest, a federal agent who appears to be responsible for this brazen attack. And I recommend to the Commission that the Commission refer this matter to the Department of Homeland Security's Office of Inspector General. Even if they will not act now, the information from this investigation should be memorialized for a future investigation with the expectation that justice will be done in this matter. Further, I recommend the Commission explore additional referrals based on the investigation team's findings.
And certainly, Mr. Bassett, the Commission will make that referral and explore other referrals if they're unwilling to act.
Thank you. And with that, Judge Holmes, thank you for allowing me to interrupt.
Thank you. No, that was a really good reason to stop, so thank you.
Again, this is from the commission hearing yesterday. It was about 3 hours long or so, and you can find the entire commission hearing at the Illinois Department of Human Rights. They also took public comments, but they were curated public comments.
We have selected 20 commentators through a combination of advanced sign-in and in-person registration today. To those of you who may be in the audience who have not been selected to speak today, please understand there will be additional opportunities at other hearings in the coming months, and so you can try and get into the lottery or sign up or go onto our website and be in communication so that you can attempt to be on the list. We can also accept written testimony from individuals. If you don't get an opportunity to speak publicly, you can always write your statement and turn it in, We will read those statements, and we may even call you and speak directly with you briefly.
So they're going to have more hearings where they're going to take public comments, and you can even submit public comment in writing. They say they will read and possibly even contact you. So something to keep watching here. But some of the public comments yesterday, none of them were in support of enforcing federal immigration law. All of them were critical of the federal government. They had City of Chicago officials there. They had activist leaders. They had some church leaders that were testifying, and others alleging that the Trump administration is white supremacist. Others saying that they need to abolish ICE, and a whole host of other similar type of rhetoric that we've heard all throughout this debate. But one resident and an activist shared some interesting thoughts for the commission to not just look at what the federal government is doing with immigration enforcement, but also to look at what Illinois State Police and Governor J.B. Pritzker are doing for public safety around protests that might get violent.
If this commission's purpose is to actually create a public record, examine the impact, and consider policy recommendations to prevent future harm, then I propose you add another component. Do the same for the state of Illinois. Commissioner Castillo, you said you want the truth to be told. The truth is, ISP assists ICE, Broadview Police assists ICE, CPD assists ICE. And the same lies you showed up there, the same propaganda against our citizens, our state does against the brave protesters at Broadview regarding ISP's involvement there. They are lies. Governor Pritzker, you are either standing with the oppressed or you are the oppressor. Governor Pritzker, you are complicit. Brendan Kelly is complicit. Brandon Johnson is complicit. Turn this accountability council inward and on what Pritzker is doing to contribute to this evil. Pritzker allows Broadview and other detention facilities to exist. Tell me the difference between Broadview and other concentration camps like CCOT. The recent TRO in Gonzalez versus Nome provides all the parallels that you need. Pritzker hides behind bureaucracy and statesmanship for his own political ambition, reaping the rewards of his pandering to groups desperate for support during these times. If this commission has any integrity, you will investigate your own house and your own hearts.
Interesting to hear that criticism of not just DHS and ICE, but also of the Pritzker administration with Illinois State Police assisting in public safety around the Broadview facility. Now, the Broadview facility, I don't think is a detention facility officially. I think it's just a processing facility because Illinois has made it so difficult for the federal government to use, for instance, county jail beds to house detainees while they're being, processed. So that can't happen in Illinois anymore. That's part of the migrant sanctuary state policies that the state's enacted. So, State Representative Nicole LaHaye, a Republican, she chatted with Jim Talamonte from the Center Square briefly and talked about how the rhetoric around all of this is really not helpful.
And I can't help but point out when Governor Pritzker does these things, it does the opposite. You know, when it comes to violence, when it comes to aggression, your leadership matters.
And she also went on to talk about how there's an interesting contrast between Governor J.B. Pritzker's rhetoric around President Donald Trump and other Democrats who may be even further left than Governor J.B. Pritzker, like the mayor-elect of New York, Mamdani. And she says that there was an interesting contrast between Trump and Pritzker and Trump and Mamdani.
Absolutely. You know, I was pleasantly surprised to see that. You know, there is nothing wrong with civility. Being civil does not mean that you're giving up your values or your beliefs.
What's going to happen with the Illinois Accountability Commission? We'll watch that at thecentersquare.com. Your tax dollars funding it and putting out those videos of different types of music, sweeping, clock ticking, and the clock ticking kind of adds a bit of anxiety to it, doesn't it? Just kind of, observation, somebody who is cognizant of media and how it can be edited and all of that. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us here for more from the Center Square. The cost of goods, the cost of energy, the cost of taxes, all things on Illinoisans' minds as we wrap up the year heading into 2026. And one thing that a lot of people still very much concerned about is energy prices. Well, the governor, he says that energy is up under Trump, but Trump says energy is coming down. What are others saying about all of this, and how are Illinois policies impacting consumer prices? All right, go to thecentersquare.com where you can get the headlines in your inbox each and every weekday morning, and you can also wake up with us here for Illinois in Focus Daily. It's Friday. Programming notes, I am going to be taking the final week of the year off, and next week is going to be a slow week. We'll have some pre-recorded stuff and some best of stuff available, but we won't be live. All right, so just be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell here for the Center Square. All right, but let's get into the conversation about price. All right, so earlier this week, President Donald Trump addressed the nation saying prices are coming down. Governor J.B. Pritzker, through his political campaign, put out a statement saying no, prices are going up. One thing that we could probably point to, something that's on the face of the gas pump when you go and fill up, is the price of gas. A lot of states have gas under $3 on average. Illinois, not in that category. We're still struggling with gas over $3. And with the back and forth between Trump and Pritzker about price, I reached out to Republican State Representative Brad Halbrook, and he said, gas prices are an issue.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is I've traveled across the district this week and all fall. We have seen some pockets where gasoline at the pump is as low as I've seen it in a long time. One end of the district in the mid 240s up to mid to upper 270s, maybe a few in the low 280s. So, in kind of central and east central Illinois, we've seen prices, or the prices that we're seeing now, I've not seen in a long time. And to think, if we had not doubled the gas tax in 2019, we would see prices another 30 cents or so less than that. I mean, we could see some prices in the 215, 220 range if it wasn't for the gas tax doubled.
Yeah, and that gas tax doubling in 2019, adding to the cost of gas in Illinois. State Senator Selena Villanueva also sharing her thoughts on the price in Illinois and just how everybody's cognizant of it.
Something like, look, we're always thinking about the realities of everyday life and the affordability of everyday life for people. Like, that's a constant thing, I think, for us in Springfield is, like, are things actually affordable? And so the reality is, it's always a constant conversation. I can't tell you that it's not. I can't tell you that it always is a conversation. So whether it's that, property taxes, whether it's the cost of eggs, whether, again, we're bringing in a business into the state of Illinois for there to be jobs available for people. Like, we're constantly having those conversations.
Now, the governor said that under Trump, consumer prices going up and up and up and up, even though Trump's been in office for less than a year now. And a lot of the major inflation that happened during the Biden administration. And you didn't necessarily hear the level of criticism about increase in prices during the Biden administration from establishment media. And the governor, I don't really recall him too much really going after the Biden administration for increased prices. But he's going after the Trump administration for increased prices, even though inflation has cooled off a bit. And economists watching that number very closely. And State Representative Brad Halbrook says the governor's just wrong on what's driving the cost here.
Yeah, well, the governor is going to say what he wants to say and needs to say to try to be politically relevant. He just has difficulty grappling with the truth. He has trouble grappling with the president. He needs to work with the president. The president has some good ideas. They need to get the situation in Chicago and wherever else in the state on the illegal aliens, the violent criminals. They need to get that situation under control. And why the governor is just resistant and hesitant to that is beyond common logical sense thinking.
Halbrook also saying that, the high costs of things are really due to Pritzker policies and tax increases that we've seen time and time again.
Right. I mean, we've got the highest property taxes in the nation. This gas tax is second or third highest in the nation. The list, corporate income tax is right up there in the top 2 or 3. All these costs that are all policy driven that the governor has advocated for. These things lie at his feet, and how he can blame the Trump administration for them I don't understand that.
And we've got,
other than that's just Governor Pritzker doing what he does.
We've got the recent reports about energy prices, and we talked about that this week as well, with the manufacturers coming out saying they need to reverse course. There's red flag warnings about high prices, higher demand, and lower reliability, with the inference that the focus of renewables is not going to cut it for the demand that's coming. And that energy price debate very much the forefront of Representative Halbrook, who's in the southern Illinois area and has manufacturers and farmers and consumers that are being impacted by these high prices.
Well, policy is driving it. Illinois deregulated electric generation and transmission in '97, and over the last few years, they've tried to re-regulate it in favor of alternatives, to phase out coal and natural gas in favor of wind and solar. And now we're seeing the onset of battery storage. And these things are all real expensive, and they're really slow to deploy, coupled with the fact that they're unreliable. But generators are making decisions, long-term financial decisions, and they see that their facilities are due to be closed because of these emission standards. And it's just economically unfeasible for them to stay in business because of the policy.
And Halbrook also highlighting a recent report from the Illinois Power Agency and Illinois Environmental Protection Agency and the Illinois Commerce Commission, talking about studying power availability and making projections into the future, saying that we could have energy shortages by 2029 for major parts of the state if the state continues on its trajectory, including the decarbonization efforts of closing power plants. Plus, you've got the Citizens Utility Board saying that, listen, even though some rate requests from utilities are getting slashed, you're still going to see higher rates in Illinois, again, with the energy plan that's in place right now.
Right. I think that's what's really telling in the report is the plan's not working. Things are just not happening as quick as they need to. Again, this is what we've said since 2021. These are not well thought out plans. They're not well orchestrated. You can't just arbitrarily set dates for closure without having a plan that will work and get us to that point. They've moved the target on the renewables 2 or 3 times over the last several years. And I don't see how that we're going to get there. And I think that report tells that very succinctly. And so they've already predicted higher rates for next summer. And so we see with the onset of the data centers, the high demand that they have for energy, there's nothing been legislated that is going to make rates cheaper, even though that's what we've been told. We're not seeing it, and the report tells that story.
So clearly, you've got independent oversight of energy and the costs, while the legislature is passing legislation to put more policies in place and more regulation in place that's focused on so-called green energy or renewable energy. Illinois House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch, talking to the Center Square up in Chicago earlier this week, reacting to that report from the Illinois Power Agency and the Environmental Protection Agency and the Commerce Commission about how Illinois could see a shortage. Is it time to maybe reverse course on the closure of base load generation through coal and natural gas powered plants? Here's the speaker.
Listen, in 2021, we passed transformative energy legislation in CEJA in 2021, and here we were 4 years later. We passed another omnibus energy bill that people tell me is transformative. I'm looking forward to the governor putting his signature on it. But all of my experts around the table say, we're going to be back at the table. We're going to continue to look to ways to make things better. And I'm listening to those experts. But I got to tell you, the bill that the governor is going to put his signature on, people say it's going to help this state in the short term and in the long term. It's going to bring costs down. It goes directly to our affordability issue under this president. Since day one, we've seen prices continue to go up in the energy space rather than down. But in Illinois, because of the work we did in veto session, we're going to bring those prices down with the policies that we're putting in place.
Don't know if that's necessarily what the report that came out this week about the resource adequacy study from the Illinois Commerce Commission and Environmental Protection Agency and others. And that resource adequacy study says that there's going to be shortages and the demand is going to exceed the supply. And that means there's going to be higher costs on consumers, things that have been, red flag warnings for all kinds of industries like the manufacturers and such. But Speaker Welch saying that they are going to continue conversations about this stuff. You got State Representative Halbrook saying he hopes that the Speaker is genuine.
Well, the short answer is yes, and I hope that the Speaker is sincere. I mean, he has a hard time, I think, sometimes with the way his talking points or his ideology and reality. It's one thing, so I hope the governor signs it, but then we need to get back to the table to, okay, how many times are we going to try to fix CEJA? How many times are we going to try to fix FEJA? Whatever the case might be, how many times are we going to offer up these different fixes? And so, you have these several hundred-page, 1,000-page bills that just make the situation absolutely worse. And I'm really glad to hear that the manufacturers are out. They were out this summer with a statement that said this was going to be $1 trillion expense to electrify Illinois by, I think it was 2050 or 2045, $1 trillion added expense. I mean, one manufacturer, small business that I talked to in September in the district, he has a business in 2 locations. Same period over last year, his electric bill jumped from $40,000 to $109,000. That's just not sustainable. They may be profitable, but I can't believe that their $69,000 additional expense a month profitable.
So with the law on the governor's desk to invest more ratepayer subsidies into battery storage and expectations that he's going to sign that, what does that mean for legislators when they come back to the Capitol in late January? Are they really going to hunker down and start figuring out how they can shore up the prices and that's increasing this summer when that's the expectation? Are they going to maybe take a look at reversing that closure date for coal-fired and natural gas power plants by 2045? We'll be watching. That's why you need to subscribe to Illinois in Focus, the podcast with you each and every morning. Also, you've got the newsletter through thecentersquare.com. Go to the Illinois page and sign up for the newsletter today. It is Illinois in Focus, only with the Center Square. That's all I got for you guys on this Friday. Greatly appreciate you being part of it. I'm going to be taking some time off from the live stream till early January. We'll see you, but be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got the weekend edition that we still have available. You're going to have the weekend edition next week into the holiday season, into the new year. Plenty of stuff still set to go out to you through the Center Square. Stories about laws coming into effect January 1st. Recaps of big stories from the year and so much more, plus any breaking and developing news that happens, including the city of Chicago and whether or not they're going to get a budget together. We'll be on top of that, and we'll get out stuff for you as we can. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily, only with the Center Square. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.